We want the education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. I quote Swami Vivekananda. A very good morning to one and all. I, Manasa of 2nd MBA deem it my great privilege to be the MC for the 26th lecture of Viveka Vani series of lectures on Swami Vivekananda, organized by Swami Vivekananda Study Center, Bangalore University. The theme of today's lecture is Educating India the Vivekananda Way. I, on behalf of SDM College of Business Management, Postgraduate Center for Research and Management Studies, would like to extend my warm welcome to you all. Prayer is not asking, it is the longing of the soul. It's our culture to remember the Almighty before we start anything. So let us begin this day seeking the blessings and presence of God. I now request Ms. Neha to lead us into prayer. ಶಾರದೆ ನಾಮ ಭಾವದೆಲೆಯಲಿ ಶಾರದೆ ಗಾನ ರಾಗವೊಮ್ಮಲು ಶಾರದೆ ನಾಮ ಹೃದಯ ಹಾಡಿತು ಶಾರದೆ ಗಾನ ಹೃದಯ ಹಾಡಿತು ಶಾರದೆ ಗಾನ ಶಾರದೆ ಗಾನ ಸಂದೇಹಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಶಾರದೆ ಗಾನ ಸಂದೇಹಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಭಾವದೆಲೆಯಲಿ ಶಾರದೆ ಗಾನ ರಾಗ ಹೊಮ್ಮಲು ಶಾರದೆ ನಾಮ. Today, we have Mr. Babar Ali, world's youngest headmaster from West Bengal, as the resource person who will be addressing us virtually. We have Mr. Anidit Gowda as a special invitee for today's program. I now call upon Mr. Ranjan Bellarpadi from Ramakrishna Mission to welcome the gathering and introduce the dignitaries.
Namaste Yatirajaya, Vivekananda Suraye, Sachit Sukha Swarupaya, Swamine Tapahare. My dear young friends and all the dignitaries present over the dais. It's indeed a great privilege to conduct any kind of programs on Swami Vivekananda. Why? Because it was a very junction for India that we were shifting from traditional or a unfreedom status to the freedom movement. So we were shifting India to the freedom India, so independent India. At that time, the many of our great leaders had a thought that to whom we can take as a leader of India for our use. There was hundreds of names, but on that occasion, with the blessings of Swami Raghunathananji, he referred Swami Vivekananda's name to then Prime Minister of the country, Rajiv Gandhi, and they declared Swami Vivekananda as the icon of Indian youths. So my dear friends, Swami Vivekananda said, my faith in younger generation, modern generation, out of them will come my workers. They will work the whole lot problem as lions. So this is what Swamiji dreamt of for the younger generation. But today we have to rectify, we have to reconcile our status that what we are doing towards our nation, at least for our academics. So on this note, Bangalore University set up a Swami Vivekananda Study Center. It's an official center of Bangalore University, where it has the objective to organize various programs on Swami Vivekananda's life and messages to inspire the younger generation. So till then, till today, we were organized 25 Viveka Vani lecture series on every month 12th. So this is the 26th lecture. We shifted to the hybrid mode, where the participants will be on the offline and the delegate will be, the speaker will be on the online. So today, we have with us Mr. Babar Ali. I request Babar Ali to turn on the camera if possible. So Mr. Babar Ali is with us. So is the world's youngest headmaster. Namaste, Babar Ali ji. Okay. You will be very surprised to know about Mr. Babar Ali that his life and lesson is taught in Karnataka as one of the chapter for the English for the PU level. So it's a really a proud matter for all of us that you have to imagine that your parents, your parents, your forefathers are so blessed that they are giving a quality education. You might be the first generation to get the post graduation in your family. Yes or no? Agree? But imagine Mr. Babar Ali situation is so difficult that the students of that area they were not getting any education in the right spirit. But that time, Mr. Babar Ali started his own school for at the age of 14. Just imagine, okay, and he became the world's youngest headmaster, recognized by BBC. Back then, they got so many awards, and today his life and the message is become the part of our textbooks, and the children are studying and getting inspired from Babar Ali, and we are very glad that Mr. Babar Ali has agreed to speak on the topic Educating India Swami Vivekananda Way to inspire all the youngsters through his work. I welcome Mr. Babar Ali on behalf of Mangalore University Swami Vivekananda Study Center and SDM College of Post-Graduation Center for the Management Studies. Welcome to you, sir. So, on the other hand, so we have on the dais, we have today's special invitee, Anindit. So, it's a young boy who is present over here. You'll be very surprised that what this young boy is doing here. So he's just like your little brother, I can say. Okay, so we might have forgot the history of our India, but Anindit is coming from Sulya, where he's become the youngest author of our coastal Karnataka, and he has written this extensive historical work on the book on the Amar Sulya Katha, and you have to listen him, and you have to get inspired that apart from his academical work and his professional work, he's doing fantastic contribution in the field of history and restoring the history to the future India. So on this Amrit Kal, it is very important to recognize such work and to present his work in front of you. And please listen to him as a special invitee. I heartily welcome Mr. Anindit for this occasion. So among with us, Mr. Gopinath Rao is an ex-serviceman from Indian Army. So I welcome Gopinath sir on behalf of the So whenever we want to conduct any new program or new experiments, that it's a home field, home come home feeling is the SDM MBA college. So that's they never say no to any kind of new initiatives. So whenever the ashram or our startup conducts any kind of work, the SDM MBA is behind us, and they always extend their support for our activities. On this note, when we are shifting from online mode to the hybrid mode, so I was thinking that which college to reach out. So here we have a SDM MBA college to support us. So on behalf of Mangalore University Swami Vivekananda Study Center, I thank Seema Shanai Madam, the director of SDM MBA, for supporting this activity. Thank you so much, Madam. Welcome to you. I also welcome our own friend and our Swachh Manas resource person. We were conducting a Swachh Manas program in the ashram. So Pramila Madam is always being support to all of our activities of ashram, where apart from our academical teaching, she used to go and conduct training to the younger children. You have to get inspired from that. Along with Ramya Shetty Madam, and Seema Madam is always supporting both of them. So I welcome Madam for supporting this. So I also welcome all the participants who are listening over Zoom platform. So various professors of Mangalore University and student friends from different campuses are listening to Viveka. And this entire Viveka streaming will be available on the YouTube channel also. So I also welcome all the participants who are present virtually. So on the other hand, I also welcome the very important delegate segment, that is the younger friends. So please be present over here physically and mentally, and do listen to Babar Ali and Aninder, and try to make note some of few points and take back and try to work upon it. So on this note, I welcome each and everyone for this wonderful lecture series of Viveka Vani, the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda of Mangalore University Swami Vivekananda Study Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. A warm welcome to you too. May I request the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. It's now time to hear the most awaited talk from the world's youngest headmaster, Mr. Babar Ali. Sir will address us virtually.
Yes, Babar Ali ji, you can speak now. We are
Okay, thank you. Elladigu namaskaram. My warm regards to all the distinguished guests who have taken some time off their busy schedules to be present here. I also extend my heartfelt best wishes to all the students who would be listening to my talk. It just makes me wonder a little, what made you do so? Perhaps it is because you thought that the teachings of Swami Vivekananda were still pertinent today, in this day and age. Well, I am sure that the teachings of the great philosopher would be equally relevant many centuries from now. And I have no words to thank the Swami Vivekananda Study Center for inviting me here today and giving me the opportunity to speak on educating India the Vivekananda way. Before starting my talk, I would do what I do always, bow my head in reverence to my inspiration, Swami Vivekananda, and may his blessings be showered on you and the whole of humankind. Perhaps you know my journey really began with a dream. Dreams dreamed not while sleeping, but with eyes wide open in the broad daylight. And my dreams really did come true. Whenever I took back upon my initial years of a 9-year-old boy, daring to dream the impossible. I am often determined of a quote by a favorite person of mine, the Honorable APJ Abdul Kalam. You have to dream before your dreams come true. So coming back to the words of my guru, Swami Vivekananda, who had said, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. Education is the key to unlocking a person's potential and providing them with the tools they need to succeed in life. However, not everyone has access to education, particularly those from underprivileged communities. This creates a divide in society where only a few have access to the resources they need to succeed in life. In order to build a great nation, it is essential that we focus on providing education to all, regardless of their socio-economic background. We must strive to eliminate the barriers that prevent access to education, including poverty, discrimination, and lack of infrastructure. As Swami Vivekananda said, education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. We must light that fire in the hearts and minds of all our students and ensure that every child has the opportunity to receive a quality education. As an educator and institution builder, my chief focus has been to impart quality education and human excellence among the sustainable development goals put forward by the United Nations. Quality education was a prominent one. It seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education to promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Gender equality is also one of the goals I continuously strive towards. Though this one is still toughest of the lot, I must say. In this case, unless charity begins at home, the gender divide will never heal. In my school, Ananda Shiksha Niketan, the home of joyful learning, about which I will tell you today, I am proud to state that there are more girls than boys. I have been able to bridge the gender divide in remote Murshidabad, although it involves quite a lot of my sweat and toil. So education is particularly important for those from backward societies, and unless people are truly educated, sustainable development will remain a dream. We must recognize that these communities, which have been historically marginalized, have not had access to the same opportunities as others. Throughout history, such communities have remained subalterns to mainstream society, living on the periphery, serving them and remaining subservient to them. By educating these communities, we can empower them to break free from the cycle of poverty and societal deprivation and thus pave way for their holistic development. Education can provide the tools they need to become active, productive, and valued members of society. So it has been my constant endeavor to provide a platform for the deprived sections of society in which they can truly voice their concerns. And as an educator, I perceived that the best way to do so was to provide them with a holistic education. Moreover, educating individuals from backward societies can have a ripple effect on the entire community. When we educate one person, they can go on to educate others, creating a chain reaction of change. This is how we can truly make a difference in society. As educators, we have a unique opportunity to make a positive impact on the world. we can help build a better tomorrow by educating the leaders of the future. We must have a broader vision and purpose beyond just teaching and imparting knowledge. We must strive to create responsible citizens who are committed to making the world a better place. Through my experience, I have learned that education is not just about imparting knowledge. Education is not a bookish knowledge, not a pack of information, but it is human making. It is about nurturing the whole person and providing a safe and supportive environment where children can grow and thrive. Education is not just a tool for personal growth, but a means to build a better world. So Swami Vivekananda said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Education is the key to unlocking the potential of individuals and building a better world for all. It is our responsibility as educators to ensure that every child has access to quality education, and we understand the importance of education and its transformative power. As I have said before, my journey was not without challenges, but it was my passion for education that kept me going. I strongly believe that education can change lives and transform communities. Through my work at Ananda Shiksha Niketan, the home of joyful learning, a school I have founded in my village, I have been able to provide access to education to many children who otherwise would not have had the opportunity. So, before coming my own story, I would love to share something from Swami Vivekananda's vision of education aimed at overall development of an individual, both in terms of intellectual and moral development. His idea of man-making education emphasized the importance of character building, practical learning, and spiritual growth, which can have several practical implications in the present scenario. Here are some practical implications of Swami Vivekananda's man-making education in the present context. Developing critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Swami Vivekananda believed that education should be practical and relevant to the needs of society. Thus, man-making education should focus on developing critical thinking and problem-solving skills that can help individuals to contribute positively to society. This can be achieved by incorporating project-based learning, experiential learning, and case studies in the curriculum. Value-based education. Swami Vivekananda emphasized the importance of character building in education. Therefore, man-making education should incorporate value-based education that promotes ethical and moral values such as honesty, integrity, compassion, and respect for diversity. This can be achieved by integrating value-based education into the curriculum and creating a conducive environment that fosters moral and ethical behavior. Entrepreneurial skills. Swami Vivekananda believed that education should be practical and relevant to society. Therefore, again and again, I am talking about man-making education, and that should focus on developing entrepreneurial skills that can help individuals become self-reliant and contribute to society's economic development. This can be achieved by incorporating entrepreneurship courses, internships, and incubation centers in the curriculum. Social responsibility. Swami Vivekananda believed that education can be used as a tool for social reform. Thus, man-making education, again man-making education should promote social responsibility and encourage individuals to become agents of change in their communities. This can be achieved by incorporating community service, social entrepreneurship, and civic engagement in the curriculum. Spiritual growth. Swami Vivekananda emphasized importance of spiritual growth in education. And again, this man-making education should focus on promoting spiritual growth, which can help individual connect with their inner self. So in summary, Swami Vivekananda's educational ideas can be implemented in the modern context by adopting a more holistic, value-based, experiential, social responsible, socially responsible and spiritually enriching approach to education. So lastly, we want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. So we should always contemplate on it and develop within us 3 H's, that is development of hand, head, and heart. And then the education will be successful in bringing Renaissance to the society in a true sense. So now I would like to share the story of my journey with Ananda Shiksha Niketan. I am from Murshidabad district in the state of West Bengal. And perhaps you may know that Murshidabad is one of the poorest districts in India. And my district, Murshidabad of West Bengal, is a border area district near Bangladesh. And the place where I still live is a remote one, far from the age of modernization, far from the modern amenities, and more than 20 years ago, the situation was worse. So I noticed that some stray children wandered here and there without any aim, like a sheep without the rudder. So I made up my mind to do something positive for these helpless children. And since my childhood, my ideal hero, Swami Vivekananda's epoch-making doctrine, service to man is service to God, always turns me and beckon me to the world of light and joy. So I am going to share a story. So I started my school when I was 9 years old. It was in the month of October, I mean 19th October 2002. Then I decided to visit local Ramakrishna mission because one idea came in my mind that if I can visit Ramakrishna mission, maybe they can help me with books and uniform, because when I was in primary school, Ramakrishna mission provided the same. So I visited the local Ramakrishna mission that is 3 kilometers from my home, and this is the first branch of whole Ramakrishna Mott and Mission, Sargachi Ramakrishna Mission. It's called Sargachi Ramakrishna Mission, and met with the then headmaster monk and shared about my journey. And obviously he was amazed, and he asked me that how I can help you. So my answer was that Swamiji, when I was in primary school, you provided us school uniform and books, and if you can give the same for our students, because I started a school. And obviously he was amazed. He promised me that I want to visit your school. He did that, and from that time he started helping me. Till now he is helping me. But that day he gave me a book of Swami Vivekananda and advised me to read that book at least 5 minutes in a day. And from that book, I had that quotation, service to man is service to God. It inspired me to continue my mission. So in the year 2002, when I was a student of class 5 and a boy of 9 years old, after returning from my 10-kilometer far away school in the afternoon, I would see girls and boys of my age coming home from work instead of coming home from school. Most of the boys help out their families working as mechanics, day laborers, grass cutters, rag pickers, etc. Girls worked in the village where they cook, clean, wash clothes and dishes. I would make them sit in the backyard of our home and teach them all I had learned in school that day. And I started teaching with 8 children, and my sister was my first student. I was the headmaster. So at first I took it as my game. Gradually it became my passion, my dream, my life and heart. number of students started to increase, and my school became a dreamland for the underprivileged children, and it was named Anando Shiksha Niketan, the home of joyful learning. So again, I am going to share one story. So how it became Anando Shiksha Niketan. So after my 5th standard annual examination, I decided to inaugurate my school. So it was in the month of April in the year of 2003. So before that, my mother, she was the first person who came forward to support me. Initially, my father, he thought that if I can share my own lessons with others, maybe my own education is going to be hampered. So he wanted me not to continue this work. But again, I did the same thing. So one day he asked a retired degree college principal that my son is doing this work. He is not listening me. I have a dream for me. I want to see him as an IAS officer, but he's not listening me. What I should do? So the that principal, retired degree college principal, his reply was, "Your son is doing a good work, and if he can do good for the society, God will help him." So I am fortunate enough. My whole family came forward to support. Then I decided to inaugurate my school. I collected sari from my mother and the village women, and made a pandal and asked that retired degree college principal to inaugurate our school. He did that, and later I asked him that what should be the suitable name for our institution. So throughout his observation, in our school, students are taking their classes in joyful atmosphere. So it should be in Bengali, Anando Shiksha Niketan, and in English, the home of joyful learning. So it became Anando Shiksha Niketan, the home of joyful learning. And in the same time, in my 10-kilometer far away school, I was asking for the broken chalk from my school teacher. So out of curiosity, she asked my classmate that why he is asking for broken chalks every day. Is he writing something in the blackboard or school premises? So my classmates, their reply was, no, madam, he started a school and he is using those broken chalks to teach his blessed children, and he became the headmaster. And literally she was very happy. She came forward with a full box of chalk. So these were the positive stories in my journey. On the other hand, there were lots of problems I had faced, but I am not going to share any negative story, because as I always believe that only positivity can change our society, can change our world. So I had to suffer much, struggle much, but I did not give up hope. I hoped against hope and fought tooth and nail to combat all the adversities. So when I founded Anando Shiksha Niketan, the village elders were very skeptic about educating their children, as they were not educated themselves, and hence they did not understand the importance of education in our lives. The children worked as the helping hand in earning for the family. They had a strong reservation about girls attending school. But today the school has 60% is girls and 40% is boys. So when we went door to pursue parents to send their kids in our school, the first question I was asked, how can education help people who cannot even afford 2 square meals a day, educate girls, and they will not find husbands? Actually, the early marriage problem was existed, but I ignored all criticism. On the other hand, there were religious biasness, lots of jealousy, discouragement, different kinds of problems I have faced, but I ignored all criticism and went ahead with my mission. And our institution, Anando Shiksha Niketan, it is, as I already mentioned, beginning in my speech, that it is not only for the bookish knowledge. We have been trying to spread man-making education among our students to become a real human being who can positively impact our society. We are running our school with a view to helping them stand on their own feet. We have already been successful to some extent in this field of work. During the, more than 20 years of our journey, more than 7,000 students have taught from our school, and we are completely providing them free education since inception to till date. And not only that, now our students are studying in the degree college, university, and 6 of our former students include my sister after their graduation, post-graduation, and teachers training degree. They came back as a teacher at our institution. So, though it was also very difficult for them to get education. So, however, always I think that we should hear the clarion call of Swami Vivekananda, that is, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And his eternal message was not politically motivated, and yet it so powerfully affected the innermost depths of human life that individually and collectively, man, we are bound to apply these ideas to various fields of life. So the national ideals of India are renunciation and service. But somehow I am not going to criticize anyone, because many people in our society, they are doing good work. And but on the other hand, today many of them, they have forgotten these ideals, that is renunciation and service. So we have been excessive, and sometimes what happened, the younger generation, again I am not criticizing, but sometimes they are excessively preoccupied by the materialistic outlook. So we should shun this excessive desire for worldly things. We should look deep into our heart with a selfless, guiltless, and stainless heart. We should renounce our earthly pleasure to render our service to people who are still unfed, unclothed, and unsettled. So now my dream is to extend our school up to university level, and definitely nowadays in our country, across the globe, there are lots of school, college, university, but there is the scarcity of human excellence. There is the scarcity of value-based education. Equally, I am going to give importance of definitely the bookish knowledge, and apart from that, the human excellence, that is value-based education and skill-based learning at our institution. And above all, my big dream is education for all with equal opportunity. So I also completed my double post-graduation in English literature and history, though I learned English alphabet from my father when I was in 5th standard, and I always love to say that I want to be a student forever. I'm not going to take much time. So this particular message from Swami Vivekananda always inspired me. Always I try to get in life, that was, or that is, go on bravely, do not expect success in a day or year, always hold on to the highest, be steady, avoid jealousy and selfishness, be obedient, and eternally faithful to the cause of truth, humanity, and your country, and you will move the world. And throughout my journey, now I am convinced that nothing can stand against firm determination, firm conviction, and firm will. The only things you should have into your heart are courage, purity, honesty, and above all, love. Love is a thing which can conquer everything. Love is a thing which can make us monarch of all we started in the realm of man's heart. Actually, I had the call of love in the core of my heart, and proceed and ultimately succeed. I think that we should have the motto, we must do something extraordinary in this whole human life. We must leave a mark on the soil of this earth. So these two lines by Robert Frost be embossed in the depth of our consciousness. That is, miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So thank you very much for your time today, and thank you very much for this opportunity. And my respect to all the professors and all the invitees, and my best wishes to all the students. And again, namaskar to all of you. Thank you very much.
Babar, when visit Bangalore, make sure that you visit our university and the campus, STMA campus, so that the students can meet you in person. So yeah, beautifully said. You started your mission at the age of 9, and the students was just about her sister, and he was the headmaster. Today, the institution reached with 7,000 students. Such a glad. And you don't want to share the negative. That's the very impact what you said in your talk. You said you don't want to share the negative. That's a really a remarkable. Youngsters always speak upon the negative, but you were so positive centric that you didn't share any negative aspect, and you kept the name of your school as Anand Niketan, where it's a house of joy, and you are giving quality education to all the deprived students, and you are focusing towards human excellence, where the skill-based and value-based education to the younger generation. And at last, you beautifully said, nothing can stop if the person is determined. So beautifully you said, and courage, honesty, and the integrity. That is what it is required. And over the above is love. So, my dear friends, this is what the world's youngest headmaster. He started the schooling at the age of 9. So, you know, all of your delegates and students, we appreciate your commitment towards the students of Shirama, the border of the respect, border of the Bangladesh. So thank you so much, sir, for having you here and spending your quality time inspiring the younger generation. And your life itself is a shows the commitment towards the self-help activity that is providing education to the deprived students. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So let's move towards the next segment of the. I'll take the privilege of MC's work. So I'll take next. We'll go towards the next segment of the talk. Where if you have any questions, you can ask to Mr. Babar Aliji. He is very much available. So any question from students end? If you ask, then I can pass it to him. Please. Have any questions? No questions? Okay, so I got a message from the WhatsApp, those who are watching in the Zoom platform. So where said that Babar Ali ji, you manage the fund, from where you get the money to run your school? That's the question. That was an interesting question. Yes.
Okay. So there is no contribution from the government, and there is simply no contribution from the government, but the peoples like you, they are supporting me, and you will be happy to know that when I started our construction, school building construction, the first help came from Karnataka, and I always love to say that Karnataka, it became my second home, because my mentor Mrs. Almitra Patel and the engineer Mr. Sriram, for more than 10 years, still now they are engaged with the construction work in my institution. So the peoples like you across the country, they are helping me, my institution. Yes, so I am dependent on donation from the peoples like you across the country, and they are helping me since inception to till date. And initially, Ramakrishna Mission, the local administration, my family members, they came forward to say help me. And nowadays, the oil wishers across the country, they are supporting me, and that's why this is possible for me to providing them completely free education. And yes.
Thank you so much. So I received a second question from one of the participant who's watching the YouTube channel and texted personally. That he asked, can you please suggest one of the nice book to read about and to start the journey like you? Can you please suggest some of the nice book on anything on Swami Vivekananda, or maybe non-Swami Vivekananda's books which you can get inspired?
Okay, so definitely I will I love to suggest Swami Vivekananda's book, and definitely all the great peoples, they left message for us. Most important thing is realization and implementation in our life. So personally, I was motivated by the book of Swami Vivekananda. There was a small Bengali book. It was called Swami Sabar Swamiji, Swamiji for all. There was the book was contained with the famous Chicago address of Swami Vivekananda, the incident in his life and works of Swami Vivekananda. It motivated me a lot. So the most important, in the similarly, Rabindranath Tagore, similar APJ Abdul Kalam, and there are lots of famous Kannada peoples who also left lots of messages for us. Most important thing is the realization and implementation in our life. So you can choose in yourself. So me personally, Babarali, Swami Vivekananda, a small book. It was content with his lives and works because I realized that book and I tried to implement in my real life. So it helped me a lot to achieve my goal. So whatever good books you can read from whatever author or whatever great peoples, the most important thing is realization and implementation, those messages in your real life. So this is my answer, the realization and implementation in your real life.
Amazing.
Otherwise, all the great people, they left good messages, strong messages in our real life. So for me, whenever I face lots of difficulties, lots of challenges, discouragement, it was a big threat for me. That time, Vivekananda's messages, he's one of the incident when he encountered with the monkeys when he visited in Varanasi. That incident helps me a lot. That when I will face any difficult situation, I should not go back. I should encounter with those kinds of bad problems and situation. Because as I know that problem is for the time being. If we have the strong determination, then we can achieve. So the answer is whatever good books you will read, whatever author, whatever big peoples, whatever I mean famous peoples, most important thing is realization and implementation in your real life. This is the most important thing as I can suggest you.
Thank you so much. That was a very thoughtful replay. Realizing what you read and the implementation is what is missing today. So you are rightly, and he's also shared the story of Varanasi, where Swami Vivekananda's life, beautiful incident has happened, where the bunch of monkeys started chasing Swami Vivekananda, where he was running away from the monkeys. At that time, one sadhu who was sitting on the bank of Ganga, he said, "Hey, sadhu, don't fight, don't run away. Just face the good, face the terrible, and face the monkeys." So as the Vivekananda turned and he held the stick and he ran away all faced the monkeys and monkeys ran away. So he learned a big lesson that the problems are like monkeys in our life. So when the problem comes, we should not run away. The problem should not chase us. Perhaps we should face. So something that boldly said, face the fruits. Okay, like a brute. When a that's what something I said. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Babar Aliji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much again for this opportunity. And I always love to say that again, I am speaking the same thing that Karnataka, it became my second home because of the love of the peoples that I have received for many years from Karnataka. So it became my second home, and I also always keep coming in Karnataka. And definitely next time we can make a physical, conference like this. And again, thank you very much for this opportunity. My sincere respect to all the lecturers and the management of this institution, and my best wishes to all the students. And my special thanks to Ranjan sir, and my special respect for the today's special invitee, the young author, and seek your blessings. and Thakurma and Swamiji, their blessings always with us. So, Wanda Negalu and Namaskar. Namaskar.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Babar Ali. Thank you so much for such a presence and inspiring our youngsters who are present over here. So next we are going head towards the another segment of the program, that is a special invitees lecture. So he'll be going to address you for a few minutes, for the 10 to 15 minutes. So here we have Mr. Anindit, and is a young author from Dakshina Kannada district. So like all our youngsters, he might be busy in his content writing work as he for his profession. Could have been busy in his own, in his own world. Okay, but he took a break, or he took a U-turn from that kind of regular life, that he was very much involved in restoring the history and rewriting the history. You know, it was said that if a lion of the jungle had a power to write the story, no hunter would be in the pages of history. Okay, so in that way, the India lost the very first page of the history. We don't know when our civilization history started. We may date it back to 10,000, but it goes even further back. And many of the Western people, they started giving the historical reference to our civilization. As a result, the Indians lost the faith on our own heritage. So Vivekananda says that if you go and ask the Western children, they said that my ancestors went and looted them, or massacred them, or killed the other civilization. But if you ask the citizens of India, we may not proud about our ancestors. That's an unfortunate that we don't know the 10 freedom fighters name. Okay, so I don't want to quiz you, but if you just if you just self-check 10 names of Indian freedom fighters, just question yourself that how much 6,000 people sacrificed their life to get the freedom of India. But how many, at least of 10, can we remember? That's a question in front of us. So in that note, Anindit is working hard to restore a history from the perspective of India. So here I present Mr. Anindit to share his thoughts on his journey, his work to the younger generation, to inspire them to restore and rebuild India. Over to Anindit. Yeah.
So beginning, right? The audio is audible, right? Yes. Yes. There's a thought with which I'd like to something a bit not conventional, let's see. Listening to Babar Ali's story also. Even the series of Viveka, Swami Vivekananda, this life. I will not tell my life story or anything of that story. But there's one thing that was constantly going on in my mind as I was listening to Babar Ali sir conveying this story. That is, see, this every story of resilience. There is some episode, some chapter, some incident. You can use whichever word over there. That chapter of transformation that makes you stronger. I'll get back to more on this as we progress with this course. And now we'll be beginning with the official session, as I'd like to call it. Firstly, my humble pronouns to all of you, to the venue also. A big thanks to SDM College of Business Management, Ramakrishna Mata also, then the University Chair, Vivekananda Circle Study Chair also, and Viveka Vani also series of lectures. This also happens to be one of the lectures. A big thanks, because this venue holds very special, very close connection to my heart. And why that is, here today I'll be sharing with you the last, roughly I would say 5 years of, I don't call it my journey, everyone's journey. I believe we are all in this constant journey, okay? We have not reached that full stop or anything of that sort. Why this very special attachment to this hall, this place is, few years back, I'd been to this very same hall, this very space. I was sitting there in my left hand side, one of those corners, to one of these book releases. Happens to be one of the first book releases which I happened to attend to. It was about this person. This is very more like out of a cinema. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Like he's an actual spy. Actual we have the raw, right? He I mean he's retired now, but he was a spy, we can say. A spy who wrote a book, an actual spy who wrote a book, and that happened in this hall. An amazing thing. And it was more about these, threats, these cyber what's happening right now. More about extremism, ideology. He has, you can't just call it a book. It's more like it's like a volume. You have to read it. I say. And apparently after that there was some law passed by the government agencies that spies and all can't write books in India. Because of course secrets, confidentiality, you have a lot of stuff going on there. But nonetheless, an interesting thing, and I'm glad it happened here. And today I'm here as a guest today, addressing people. It's a transformation in the last 4 or 5 years. But in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been like I often share this thing with people. In fact, I had this habit of scribbling, writing from where all things began. Where I remember once writing in my personal diary. I learned a lot about life by going very close to it. And I have written this in my personal diary, and I keep recalling it once in every while, and I share it with my close circles and sharing it here. Because today, I'm here standing in front of all of you. Or my, I'd not use our introduction, my whole movement with the society as such, my social life, is as an author of this book, which was published by our Tulu Academy under the Department of Kannada and Culture, and also in association with there's this place in London called Chelsea. There you have the National Army Museum of UK, and I'll use a strong word. I was devastated when I first learned about the National Army Museum of UK, and why I was devastated is about our own. Forget history. I'll not even go to history. 5, 6, 7 years back, what happened here? Local things. Let's talk about one area. How much will we be aware of? Will we have the newspaper clippings, even if it is there in what condition it will be? We all know the harsh reality. But National Army Museum at Chelsea, London. It's not just about we think British came 200 years, they did something part of the story. You go there, they have. See, I'm at this state of shock as I'm expressing this with you, because this is coming from experience. They have a collection of everything even before they came to colonize us, like how their armed structure was, how they had this systematic military. Then during colonization, what happened? After that, what happened? Now, how they are. So they have kept a continuous track of the recording. I'm just giving you one example of National Army Museum, which is in Chelsea. If you go around throughout UK, then of course we know Kohinoor and things like that. They have made a remarkable collection. So these are all certain aspects. So this book came into fruition, and as an author, this is more of a social life. But behind all this story, wasn't always about becoming an author, about writing. Let's talk about the basics. About writing, about scribbling, or I can write. It was none about that. It was nothing of that sort. In fact, in my first pages I've written, I never knew I could write. All that mattered to me 5 years ago was, and I'm saying this from the heart, all that mattered to me 5 years ago was, any current would happen. You won't charge the I'm saying it in Tulu so that we get the closer connection with the local audience. Or in Kannada, okay, everything is fine. I'll keep my phone for charging. I'll see a little bit of social media, everything done. That was it. That was life. I'm putting it in very youth parallels. That was it 5 years ago. There is some story, it seems, back home. People keep talking. Some gun has remained back home. Some people went to fight against the British, it seems. A nice movie type story. Interesting. Good. That was it. That's all that mattered to me 5 years ago, because I didn't know. I was not aware that so much is there behind that. That is where one, usually we end up recalling some quote. We share it in our speech and things like that. But let me keep it very practical. There are two things about Swami Vivekananda ji which I will be sharing here. Very, very minuscule, very, very less. or that magnanimous personality. So there are two things which I'll not just use the word shaped my life, but it course corrected. GPS is a recalibration. Right? That's what happened with my life. Those just two things I'm saying. One thing is there's this book, Swami Vivekananda's lecture series from Colombo to Almora. So as I was reading that book, there's this one thing in the starting pages. See, this Swami Vivekananda himself tells that. He told it many years ago, but trust me, even to this very moment, okay, that those lines, it's very timely, it's very relevant. That is, it's not some rocket science, it's very simple. See, he says, Swami Vivekananda, he says, the whole thing about this, he talks about India's literature scene basically, but overall about our parampara, heritage, Amma Charitre, what we say, tradition. This whole thing about India, right? This whole thing about our history, culture, all those we can't use the word mythical. Those interesting things, they're like kind of curious, which we don't find in a textbook. We don't find in mainstream as such. If you have some sessions or you happen to lay your hands on some books or some good conversations, you end up coming from that. But Swami Vivekananda this whole thing about India, this whole magic charm is in its fascination. When you talk about, say, Tulunadu, our Dakshin Kannada district, what we traditionally call Tulunadu, this whole tradition of Daivaradhana, just taking one example, we have much more. The whole thing there, of course, there's bhakti devotion. Of course, there's some traditional heritage. It has come down from ancestors and all of that. There is some administrative, there's a you have those administrative structures also. But the main thing when we stand there like this is fascination. How is this all happening? That's exactly what Swami Vivekananda ji, in fact, it's one of his discourses with somebody, and that's what is recorded in that book. Fascination. Like the whole thing about this India's mysticism is it does not like you're going somewhere and it tracks you. Come, see, look at this, read this. No, it doesn't do like that. It's like you see it, you're like, something is there. If I would tell in our language, we get that feeling. That's at that point of time when my journey began, I was not aware of all these things. Later on, I came to know about this particular phrase, which I very much agree with even to this moment. That is a part, in a way, how my journey also began. This is of, I'm traveling back to 3rd April 2018. That's where unknowingly, I have to stress on that word, unknowingly my writing journey began. Even before I got into college, that after 11th, 12th, it was more of a vacation season kind of a thing. So I've been back to our ancestral house. And at that very night, 3rd April 2018, my life changed. 3rd April 2018, later on when I delved into research and I started reading some British records and all of that, that's when I came to know that 3rd April 2018 happened to be a very important day in Tulunadu's history and in global history also. I was not aware of that till then, till I read the records. The significance of 3rd April, go back 181 years previous. That's 3rd April 1837, right? Happens to be the day when all people from all parts of Tulunadu, majorly coming from Surya and all other directions, they all came to Mangalore. They reached Mangalore and they were like, we should chase the British from here. And it did not happen at some corner of Mangalore. This place is there, right, where we are right now. This happened to be a paddy field back then. And up there was British Lighthouse and their European colony, where we have the city center mall, right? Beyond that was the whole European colony. This is what the records say. This is not some figment of imagination. There's clean records for that. And each of that record, don't ask me where it is, you'll be shocked to know this. In today's British Parliament, volume 53, Accounts and Papers in British Parliament, every little detail of our district is there. And when I say every little detail, when I was researching, I cried looking at that record because from 1815 onwards, the British, about what we call Dakshin Kannada district today, every month from 1815, every month, when I say every month, I mean every month, what degree Celsius the temperature was, what millimeter rainfall was, which kind of trees are there at which part of Dakshin Kannada. I don't want to use the word beautiful, but I have no choice. I'm telling about the structure. I'm not telling about the mindset or what they have done or with what intent they have done. But if you look at those records, that record keeping, my God, you feel shocked. Like what did they want to do with that record? That much of detail. Probably if you go and search today, you will not get such kind of accurate pinpoint. We have all what Excel sheet and cloud technology, and now the AI is also coming in. But still, we don't have that meticulous planning sort of a thing. What records? I cried looking at this record. That be frank, I cried like so much. We never knew. Our history, what did it start or end with 1947 was the whole confusion that was always there in my mind. But looking at that, I was like, okay, some history is there. As in some record is there, not somebody speaking something. All these things are one thing. So coming back to 3rd April 2018, that night all that mattered to me was my phone was low on charge. So it's like my phone has to charge, I have gone back to my ancestry. Phone has to charge, I have to sleep nicely, get up next day, enjoy. That was all that mattered to me. But it happened to be election season back then. See, people generally know about Kurg and weapons and kind of special relations. Similar thing, somewhat similar thing exists in Surya also. Because Surya for nearly 200 years had Kurg's administrative influence. Although culturally, traditionally, Surya is very much a part of Lunadi. Some sort of administrative, during the king's period, they conquer, they take some part of land, they claim it as their own territory. A bit of influence has happened on us also. Even more than that, if you go 500 years further backwards, you see that Surya has had some amazing military stories. And once again, another shocking revelation where I got it from. Nothing of this remains in Surya or Mangalore or Bangalore or any part of India, you name it. But in Italy, there's this person called Vincenzo. He lived in the year 1628, and he had been to Mangalore. He has written about Ullar and some places of Mangalore, and he had been to Surya and other places. He writes, there's a translation of it in English also, and what he wrote in 1628 survives up to this very day in Italy. Where are we? Our own history is in different lands. We talk about Kohinoor and we talk about some artifacts being somewhere. Our own history is in different lands. He writes, Vincenzo in his book Caravaggio writes, he had traveled extensively these tracts of land. I read the translated version of it in English. And this area happened to be so prosperous that they used to export. We are all business, this business segment students here. So he writes the economic condition of this region, that rice used to be harvested 3 times annually in this region, and it used to be exported. It used to get exported from Bangalore port, from Mozambique, which is in the Arabian Africa, that part of land, to Sumatra, Malaysia, Indonesia. That was the kind of economic thing which I'm not talking some random part of India. I'm talking about Bangalore. We don't know. We don't know, unfortunately. We have to just say it in those 3 words. That's how much history we've lost. All these things. I was all tears when I saw these things. Idu namma charitraya. Is this our real history? How come it's not there anywhere? All those things. Because like everything is fine. Now what can I do about it? That's where all this transformation thing started. But how did it start? So there was this gun which has remained backward. So it was a subject of very curiosity. Those who come from this Fauji kind of an ambience, or also come from this freedom movement sort of background, I would use it, or from some sort of soldiers or those Yoda type of household, they'll be able to relate to this much more closely. If you observe where all these ancient weapons have survived in those houses, more than these all of us kids, children, that weapon gets very special treatment. It's not a weapon at that house. It is not an object. It is more like a reigning member. It is like a Radhaji over there. It gets more respect. Sometimes you are standing in the corner and you're wondering, what is this? What is happening? That's how my childhood was also. So, and along with that, another interesting bit is there are something which I don't claim and something which I claim. Something which I claim is I have this very unique privilege which I'm very happy about to share. That is, I have some sort of a connect and disconnect with back home Surya. Although I hail from there and this history and everything, that connection is there, of course. I don't deny that. But I was brought up in Bangalore and I've been around cities and things like that. So my interaction back home, that rural Gramya Sogadu, that has been, I wouldn't even use the word bare minimum, not even up to that mark. So there's some sort of a connect and disconnect. So all the while I just shared with you that weapon has remained, some special treatment it gets and all of it. I've been seeing that. And half the time I'd not even be at home, education and stuff like that, I'd be outside. So that question was always there in the back of the mind. What is it? How did it come? And things were very like, I don't use the word kiddish, because that has a different connotation. It was more like, what sort of a purpose does it serve? That kind of a question was always there in the back of my mind, but I got preoccupied with other things and life moved on. But again, coming to 3rd April 2018, see this every election time, right, we have this more like a ritual. And why I use the word ritual, the term ritual is periodic, like every 3 or 5 years, an election comes, you have to deposit your firearm in. There's this place called Babar in India, right? I don't know how many of you are familiar with it. There's this school ground there, and there's a police station there. So every election time, you have this Indian Arms Act of 1959 and Armed Schools of 1962, where during election time you have to deposit your firearms. It's the law of the day, and yeah, that's fine. So that has been going on, and same thing that day, same it used to be in my childhood. We went took it, kept it there. But I was like, what is there? So it's always that Parleji type of ad kind of a like, what is it? Why? What's so special about it? Those questions, like kids keep asking questions, and they keep nagging, like, what is it? Do you feel it? It's more like that kind of a thing. Then I figured out, oh, that is not a school ground at Bellary, that is a war ground. That's how I figured out. Like the very place where there's a government school today, there's a school ground. Very place where that is there happened to be the place where on 30th March 1837, all freedom fighters back at Sulia, they had all gathered together, and that happened. There happened to be a British in the records mentioned Taluk Kacheri. So they attacked that. They chased the Britishers away. They burned the British account papers. All these are there in the records. There's proper documentation and sufficient proof for that. So that's what happened at Bellary. But that day, even today, it was just a school ground. Nobody knew, like, such a big history is it. And what kind of history are we talking about? Now, keep all these things aside. Now, why so much of a stress? Because we are talking about something. See, in our history textbooks and everything, we have seen 1857, Mangal Pandey, Indian independence, rising, rebellion. We have seen all those things. But what we are talking about here is something 20 years before that. And that too something which happened at our own place. So that's the seriousness of the topic. And you search for it. The natural instinct would be to search for it. Can I get some information about it? Is there anything about it? No, there's nothing, like no seriousness, no sort of substance. So that's where it was not about, okay, I'll go and write a book. No, nothing of that sort. What's the maximum an individual can do? Write diary, or you have a notepad app in your phones. Start it. Even the Nana before I went there, I saw such a thing, I heard. That's how this writing journey started. It was not like a very structured, refined, or paraphrase writing, not those things. Started noting down all those little nuggets. Eventually, in my journey, 2018 started, 2020, COVID came, and lockdown and things happened. So I had a chance to be back home and explore more around the region there. And I got to connect with people. And then some public discourses started, YouTube and some academies and all. Like such and such a thing is there, it seems back home. The British also seem to remember it. In fact, when I connected with the British ones, the British government agencies, do you know the reply that they sent me? What they said me was, yes, sir, we do remember that history in time. But that was more something. Given all these, whatever I had to go with. And like more curiosity grew. See that fascination, like Swami Vivekananda, it is attracting you towards it. It's not like you are like going, I do something. Not that you're going, it's attracting you towards it. Those things happen, and it's coming to some sort of a document record sort of a thing. And in that 4 years journey, 2021, I met with a very serious crash, and the left part of my body, hip and below, I was left. I knew that the part exists, but there was no connection whatsoever. I couldn't walk it. Things, very hard testing times happened to me. But that's where I'm glad I got a platform to share this today on a larger scale. Swami Vivekananda is another talk. At that moment, when such a big thing happens, a crash happens, you're all destroyed, and you'll be like, I'm in the middle of a work, this thing happened, how will my work complete? That was, of course, one thing that was consuming my mind. The second thing was, how do I get up? How do I complete that? How do I tell people that such and such a thing is happening? Because all the writing work that I did happened in secrecy. Not people knew it. People would be like, "Avan tamare college work karte library go to." So that's like he comes to college, he sits in the library and God knows like he's like silent. And people didn't know that this book is happening till the day it got to be. So that crash happened and it devastated me badly. See, one thing is then something like really wrong happens, and that's something which nobody should go through. I've been through a lot of things with regard to that, some medications and all of that. Then things didn't work. Ultimately, it's the mind. Okay? Like if you, for me, this purpose was it. See, this story, you have to get it out to people. Our own town story, people don't know, and people outside should come to know about it. So that one thing, while it was, of course, giving that push, but still you're not able to get up. That's when I came across this purely coincident. Swami Vivekananda goes, what can you do when you're like completely distracted? You're on the bed like this. So you have to either let your mind loose or you have to have a firm grip on that. So that's when I came across this thought, like dedicate your life to one idea, make that one idea your life. Like breathe about that. Like whatever movement, whatever you're doing, just that is it. That is your life. That got me thinking from that moment on. Why don't I give my full attention? This pain is there, but why not focus on that? And then whatever happened is people support and society saw the thing. Things happened, and I too am fully recovered now. And I recently got a vehicle, and the manufacturer also came to know about it. My story, I rode it like nearly more than 100 kilometers, and I'm absolutely fine, no issues. Ultimately, one thing is it's the mind, as Swami Vivekananda used to always tell it. See, reading all these quotes, thinking about it, and that is one thing. But once you live that thing and once you imbibe it and live that, like, that experience is something else altogether different. That's one thing I would like to share here, because all sorts of medication and whatnot was tried on me. I was crying, nothing worked out. But this, I can do it. Okay, it pains, it does not allow me, but still I'll get up, I'll do. How much I can do, I'll do. That's when people started, and also thanks to social media, thanks to people like Ranjan and others. That's when people started seeing the thing. They got into the substance. I write extensively on Facebook, whatever my story is, whatever my updates, I share it there so that people come to know. It's not about some PR sort of a platform where you are promoting yourself. I have been destroyed and I have come out of it. And I want to reach out to more youth saying that, see, you can also do it. Things are positive. It's not that once something happens, that is it, the end of your journey. Nothing of that. So that's what even Swami Vivekananda used to tell on practical stuff. That's what even Babar Ali is also saying. Lots of things have happened with him also. Glad that we got to connect with him today. Even a few years back, I was seeing on YouTube about his journey. Today, we got to see him, we can say almost in real person. So and he has been through that. So that all links to the first thought which I said. Like every resilience thing, right? There's some sort of transformation behind that. That's where all these stories come out. There are only two things which with I'd like to share and conclude my. I'll not use the word discourse. This is a dialogue between us. That's how I'd like to say it. The two things. One is now this thing about Amara Sudhya. Now, what really helped with this book, this topic standard was the story anyone can write. Anyone can write. That's one thing I've seen. But when you're talking about history, when you're talking about some serious things, where is the record? On the other hand, that's also a thing. Right? So this is the court martial which was written in 1837. This is not written by me. This was written in 1837 about our own Mangalore, about our own Sudhya, Dakshin Kannada place. And this record, this exists in UK even. This is a original court martial. So we might have lost, forgotten, ignored. I don't want to use other words, but things are there outside. They're very well kept. Absolutely, in absolute good condition, they're kept outside. One thing. Second thing is recently the central government, they are also up to a new initiative where they're collecting these kind of stories and they're putting it up on their Amrit Mahotsav website. If you Google Amrit Mahotsav and check Bellary, there's the story there. So that again comes back to Swami Vivekananda's, I'll not use the word thought. It was his dream actually. It's very unfortunate the nation lost him quite early on. Because he used to always talk about this youth power, youth dynamics, bringing youth together. See, this kind of story, right now, what I feel is, see, every corner of, let's not talk about something as youth as a country. Okay, let's talk about our own city, or about our own district. Every corner, every Devasthana, connect with people. There is one more the other story. Let's get that out. Let's share it. Let people come to know, oh, this is the story of a town, such and such a thing has happened. That is when that whole youth dynamics, transformation power can actually be fulfilled. Actually, it can be seen. It will be tangible. That is one thing that has to happen. One is sharing the stories, like such historic or such kind of story. Give it a good shape. It's not necessary that it has to be like really exceptionally grammar corrected story. Nothing of that sort. It need not be necessary that it's written. Photo is good, video is good. Share that thing. So more and more people come to know. And who knows, when such stories come out, maybe that story has a connection with story of other part. That oh, some people from our place used to tell it's that thing only. People can connect, right? It's all about these human touch that ultimately matters, not those polished, refined things that really hold the limelight. One thing, and second thing, which is the last thing with which I'd like to conclude my dialogue here, is I'll not use the word willpower. Okay, it's like very cliche, common used dialogue. I'd rather say everything is in the mind. If the mind is intact, the mind is fine. No matter what you can come out. I myself have lived that if I have to tell that thing here. If not for the mind, then no best doctor, no medicine can do wonders. That's one thing which I'd like to bluntly put it across. So please, my request to all of us, like all of us are youngsters, whoever have joined, even the digital media also, live thing, Zoom also. If you have some stories around, please get it out. Please share it with people. Let people come to know such and such a thing. And mind, positive thinking really does wonders. And in a small way, I'm a living example of it. That's it from my take. Dhanyavad, Jai.
Thank you, sir, for your words of experience and inspiring us. The session is now open for any queries. I now request Dr. Seema Shanoy ma'am to hand over a memento to Mr. Anindit Gowda as a token of love and gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks. Gratitude and hospitality are the peculiar characteristics of Indian humanity. As we come to the end of the program, I now request Dr. Seema Shanoy, Director of SDM PG Center, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Om Shri Manjunathaya Namah. They say life is all about learning. And this morning, we had this very rare opportunity of learning from young minds in India. Both the speakers for this morning truly stood to what Swami Vivekananda said. Arise, awake, and stop not till your goal is reached. I am greatly indebted to Swami Vivekananda Study Center and Ramakrishna Math, Mangalore, for having partnered with SDM PG Center in organizing this beautiful program. It has been meaningful in more than one way. I'm sure all the participants present in this hall, as well as participating through the virtual means, have had a very meaningful and learning session this morning. Both our speakers for this morning gave us thoughts that we must cherish for our life. The youngest headmaster, Mr. Babar Ali, has definitely made us understand that if your intentions are good, then nobody can stop you. With his will and determination, he has today stood tall and achieved whatever he wanted to and more. So thank you so much for connecting with us virtually and inspiring all of us. It was indeed a very, very inspiring one. My words of gratitude also goes out to this young man who is seated amongst us, just 23-year-old with a degree in journalism. He sought after fighting for those freedom fighters who shed their blood for our country. His cause is huge. His thoughts are powerful. They say small things, great things come in small packages. And he definitely stands as a testimony to the fact that small things will definitely come in great packages. So wishing you all the very best for your endeavors in the future. I hope your writing skills continue to inspire and revolutionize India in the coming years. We are with you in this struggle and wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for gracing us this morning. My heartfelt thanks to Swami Vivekananda Study Center for having convened this program in association with our students. This partnership is going on from a year and a half, and many students have been beneficiaries of Swami Vivekananda Study Center program. So heartfelt thanks to Swami Vivekananda Study Center and the conveners. I would also like to thank Mr. Ranjan Bellarpadi and Mr. Gopinath Rao from Ramakrishna Mission, who have been kind enough to grace us this morning with this wonderful initiative, and for many other initiatives for which they keep SDM and its students in mind. Thank you so much, sir. This program wouldn't have been possible if not for the efforts of Dr. Pramila Shetty, madam. So heartfelt thank you to you, madam, for having convened such a wonderful program. A big thanks to the technical team from Ramakrishna Mission who made this virtual and physical program possible for the very first time in SDM campus. Kudos to you and thank you so much. Last but not the least, I thank all the audiences, the virtual as well as physical audience, for their patient listening, and I hope we all take home lots of inspiration from this morning session. Thanks to each one of you.
Since I'm making it part. Bag on the Gopinath. I recorded that.